I am Greg from Now On Studios with over 20 years of experience as a professional photographer and videographer. And I've spent the past decade or so immersed in live streaming. And so today I'm really thrilled to review the new Tail 2 from Obsbot. So 10 years ago, we started streaming football with just one camera. Over 10 seasons later, we expanded to a 6-camera, 6-person crew, and complete with replays, commercials, and mobile field cameras. It's a very complex system, and I'll even put a link to one of our games in the description so you can see kind of how complex it was. I'm going to go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way. Obsbot did send me a couple of the Tail 2s, one of the Tail Airs, which is the older camera, and a remote for review. And however, they haven't influenced what I'm about to say. And my focus will actually be on how these cameras can simplify and enhance broadcasting. So I know that there's going to be other reviewers that might dive into a lot of the specs and the technical details, but I'm kind of going to be sharing more of my practical insights of how these can be usable. So over the next few months, I'll release setup guides for multiple sports, and I'll share my research findings and the gear that I've selected, hoping to prove valuable for your high school or other sports programs, so that you too can benefit from our research. Today's focus is actually going to be on 7-on-7. It's a football program. I happen to be a coach with a private club. It is a 7-on-7 organization called the Warriors, and I handle all of the game video for about 75 players, which represent about 5 full teams. So 7-on-7 football is a tournament style game, and that many aspiring collegiates play and participate in during the spring and the summer. And for those of you unfamiliar, 7-on-7 games are only 20 minutes long and use just 40 yards of a 100-yard field. And 2 games occur at the same time, going in 2 different directions on that same field. It's fast-paced, and some tournaments have up to 20 fields in use at one time. At a tournament, our 5 teams will play 3 games each in the first day, and up to 5 or more the next day, depending on how well they do. So I need a portable system, as I am moving to a new field every half an hour. And later, I'll upload the videos for the players to review, learn, see what they can do better the next time. So I see many folks at these tournaments trying to capture video using an iPad or an iPhone, and basically at field level. But this often results in poor video quality due to the angle. And in the past, I've actually used a 20-foot carbon fiber pole with tripod legs and an Osmo Action, which is very similar to a GoPro, and connected to my phone so I could start and stop. However, this setup has limitations, including the risk of the pole falling over due to wind. I'm sure that has happened a couple times. The framing was static and didn't follow the action. So I guess I can just call it documentary and almost security camera footage instead of a dynamic action capture. So we're kind of looking for a streamlined setup. And today I am going to be using a single Obsbot Tail 2. And this is results of some research. I found a couple almost 10-foot light stands that can travel with a case. This allows me to get above any of the players on the sideline instead of being in the corner of the end zone where I typically position my 20-foot pole. I now position this camera on the 20-yard line, and the play starts at the 40, and the team with the ball tries to score a touchdown while the defenders look to prevent it. So I'm starting with a very simple setup. a single camera, and I'm just going to connect my phone. So kind of similar to what I used to do with the action camera, but being able to track the action either manually or by the Obsbot 2's tracking feature. The game is captured more professionally. And also, being 9.5 feet above the players' heads is crucial, but not quite too high. It's at an angle that seems to be much better than field level, and so I think this is going to be the perfect solution. So I'll connect the camera to my phone using the Obsbot Start app and use my phone to control the camera. So before the game starts, I reset the camera to essentially cover the first third of the field. And as the play proceeds, I use the presets that are in the phone, there are 3 of them, to follow the action. This setup requires some practice, but it adds significant production value. Just a note, for simplicity's sake, I set the 3 presets each game and then use the buttons that correspond to the thirds of the field. So for example, if the play starts from the right side, my first preset is going to be 3 because it goes 1, 2, 3. And then as the action comes to the left, I'll go 2 and then 1. Now, if I start from this side of the field, I will preset 1 first, 2, and then 3. So just essentially, I set it up to follow the play. All right, so to take the next step, and we're going to add the Obsbot remote to control the camera while using my phone as a monitor. And I've found a great little phone holder that attaches to the light stand and allows me to work with the remote and just not have to hold the phone as well. This setup lets me just push the button to record and use the preset buttons to operate the camera without looking down. You can just feel the next button you need. So at the end of a play, sometimes I engage the human tracking to let the camera zoom in and follow a player, and this enhances the production quality. All right, so one more complexity and one more improvement over our old system is live streaming. The additional advantage of the Obsbot Tail 2 is the ability to live stream the game to YouTube or other platforms via the app. And this feature allows family members who couldn't come to the tournament to watch the games. In fact, we are leaving in a week to have a tournament in San Diego, and from Colorado, not all the family members are going to be able to go. So we're just going to be simply using our phone data to stream. As I mentioned before, we have lots of games to cover. So actually my daughter will use the second Tail 2, and we bought an additional remote. So we have 2 full and complete setups. And we could actually have a third or more if we chose to do so. So the Obsbot Start app enables us to live stream from both of the setups, which I got to tell you, families absolutely appreciate it. We've been doing that for a long time. Over the last 10 years, we've had quite a bit of feedback that they love it. Players can later also review the game footage, and again, I mentioned before, to improve their skills. So, in future videos, I'll explore a little bit more advanced setups, including the multi-camera productions, including drone footage, which we can put into the system if you have an Obsbot Talent, which I do. I actually purchased one here about a month ago. And I'm always looking to improve my setup. And I'm excited about the capabilities of the Obsbot Tail 2. So final thoughts. Is the Tail 2 an upgrade over our previous setup? Absolutely. We can now follow the action with optical zoom and smooth pan and tilt. I'm also looking forward to being able to use the new group tracking feature once it's fully functional, to see if more automation is possible, especially on a football game like 7-on-7. Is it a better option over the Tail Air? And I think so, due to its larger battery, its larger sensor, better optical zoom, and additional features. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in a more technical video, which is going to focus more on our camera settings for 7-on-7. This video is going to feature the Obsbot Center, and I'll show you basically all the things we've set up. So in part B, we're going to look at all of the things that the Obsbot Center does to unlock all of the Tail 2's features. I want to thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Hopefully this helps you stream high school sports and perhaps support getting some of your athletes to being able to play at the next level. Also, check the links in the description to see some of the gear that we have researched and that we have put into our system to make it as easy as we can to stream. Hope to see you in the next one.
Let's take advantage of what we've been gifted today. Any questions? Okay, varsity is going to be going this way. Young Bucks are going that way. I want 8th grade offense versus 9th grade defense first.